Perfect. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. So today's topic is Hanumanji. How we connect to him energetically. What are his attributes, his origin, and what are the things we learn from him. So I've taken a stab at it. And as I said earlier as well, I could not have known so much about him if not for this opportunity. So thank you very much. So we'll talk about his beginnings. So, in Hanuman Chalisa, we would have heard, Anjani Putra Pavan Sutnama, right? So he's a son of Anjana and Kesari and blessed by the god of wind, which is Vayu, which is the air element of it. He's also known as he's known as an incarnation of Shiva. He was born in the Treta Yuga on a full moon day, on a Purnima, on a Tuesday, and hence we, observe Tuesday as Hanumanji Ka Din. And he was born in a cave in Jharkhand. And he's one of the 7 immortals. So it's said that he is still alive in some form and shape. And they say that jab tak, Ramji ki, we'll celebrate Ram, Hanumanji would be around. So he is immortal, and this was bestowed to him by Shiva. And the reason why Hanumanji, as we say, he's an incarnation of Shiva. So why he took birth in the Treta Yuga was to help Rama in his fight against Ravana. So that's where, he was born and his initial qualities or initial information. Any questions on this and any observations? Gitu, would you like to add anything on this one, or should we reserve it to a later time?
We'll reserve everything for a later time. Right now, complete your presentation.
Yeah. All right, going to the next slide. We are talking about in the Ramcharit, in the Hanuman Chalisa, we would have heard of Ashtasiddhi Navnidhi Ke Data, right? So he is the owner of Ashtasiddhi, is the owner of 8 powers, and whosoever worships him, he bestows those powers to him. So he was bestowed with the ability to turn his body as small as an atom, and he could also increase his size as big as the sky. He could increase his size, he could increase his weight to enormous amounts. Also, the fact that he could also become weightless. And he has the power of accessing any place in the world. He can think of it and he can fly or reach that place as and when he wants. And he has the power of knowing whatever he desires. And Ishvat, which says he possesses total lordship or divinity. Also, the fact that he has control over his senses, mind, and everyone. So those are his 8 powers, Ashtasiddhi. And Navnidhi, Nidhi means wealth or assets. So, one remark I would want to make here is that he got these Ashtasiddhi and Navnidhi from Lord Sun. So Surya was, or sun god was his guru, and he bestowed him with these Ashtasiddhi and Navnidhis. And so just briefly talking about these 9 assets, the first one talks about he is endowed with sattvic traits, and he can collect gold and silver. Mahapadma, the second Nidhi, talks about he collected wealth. He donates the wealth he collected to religious places. Neel Nidhi gives him sattvic and rajas qualities, and such funds are obtained by trade, and this wealth lasts for 3 generations. Mukund Nidhi is dominated by Rajogun, and it's a fund of royal nature. Nand Nidhi is a mixture of Rajas and Tamas, the fund which provides lifelong and continuous growth. Makar Nidhi is governed by Tamas. The person with that asset collects weapons and outshines his enemies in the war. Kachap Nidhi, keeps his property hidden. So somebody who's bestowed with a Kachap Nidhi, he would keep his property hidden and consumes his wealth himself. Conch Nidhi is a fund that remains only for one generation. And the last one is the Karva Nidhi, which is a combination of all the other 8 Nidhis. So he had been bestowed with all these 9 Nidhis. So he could collect gold, silver, he could donate it to religious places. He had sattvic, rajas, tamas qualities, and host of all of them. So this shows that he had combination of all 9 of them. So moving on to the next one, what are the attributes of Hanuman which we could imbibe in our lives or which we could learn from him? The first one is that he was a great communicator and he had great convincing skills. So when he went to Ashok Vatika to meet Sita, so Sita did not recognize him and she was doubtful as to why or how could a Vanar or a monkey bring a message of her husband, Lord Rama. So, so he was such a good communicator and such a good he could do a dialogue with Sita and he was able to establish himself as the messenger of Lord Ram. So that's one of the qualities of his that we should imbibe and learn from. The second one was he was intelligent, he was clever in a way that when he was going to Himalayas to find Sanjeevani Booty, Ravana, uh, asked one of his demons named Sursa to attack and eliminate Hanuman. And Sursa had a huge size. So initially, Hanuman increased his size as big as Sursa and then immediately reduced his size to that of a bee and entered Sursa's mouth and came out immediately. So he said, I came out of you, so hence I'm your child. And how could you eat your own child? Impressed by his cleverness, Sursa, dropped the idea of eating or eliminating Hanuman, and then he moved on towards the Himalayas. So that's one of the uh, behaviors or of intelligence that we see in Hanuman. Moving on, Brahmastra, right? So Brahmas, so Brahma, Meghnad worship Brahma ji, and Brahma gave him this क्या बोलेंगे var ki I mean he gave his own Brahmastra to him, while Hanuman also had the var from Brahma that Brahma's any what do we say shastra cannot kill him. So in the war against between Meghnad and Hanuman, when Meghnad used Brahmastra against Hanuman, Hanuman could have dodged Brahmastra, but he didn't want to undermine the power of Brahmastra, and hence he bore the wound on himself, just for the sake of, holding the ideals of a Brahmastra high. So he was true to his ideals. Later on, he freed himself, but yeah, in the first place, he bore the wound of the Brahmastra. Moving on to the next one is multidisciplinary personality. So in front of Mata Sita in Ashok Vatika, he became very small to show that he was very small. He was just kid-like or son-like to Sita Mata. So he reduced his size, and the next moment he increased his size and he burned the entire Lanka. So this is the multidisciplinary personality showcased by Hanumanji in the same place in Lanka. Next one is being part of a solution. So when he went to the Himalayas to find out Sanjeevani booty. When he went there, he could not locate which tree is a Sanjeevani booty. So instead of running back to his master saying that no, I didn't find, or how do I identify Sanjeevani booty, so rather than becoming a part of a problem, he became a part of a solution, and he lifted the entire Himalaya or that mountain, which would have had the Sanjeevani booty on it. So, and also brings in the healing aspect of Hanumanji, that he brought healing back to Lakshman. Uh, Moving on to the next one, that so no self praise or no self narcissism about him. So when he came back from Ashok Vatika after meeting Sita Mata, and also burning Lanka, so he didn't tell his tale of bravery and victory to Rama. So he was not like, "Arey maine ye kar diya, arey maine wo kar diya," right? So it says that, and he gave the entire credit of his actions to the blessings of Rama. So which signifies that he was totally. I mean, there was a lack of totally self-appraisal in him. He was not. He was not swelling in his own self-pride. Something we should learn from him. Also, he had commendable leadership skills in a way that he demonstrated, collaborative and leadership skills when he guided the entire Vanar Sena to fight for Rama and create that Ram Setu. While not every Vanar or every monkey was as strong as mighty as Hanuman, but pulling them all together and helping them, construct the Ram Setu was a demonstration of his leadership skills. Total devotion to learning. So, as I said earlier, that sun god was his guru, and while he was learning the Siddhi, Navnidhi, and other teachings from uh, Lord Sun found out that out of 9 Siddhis, he had already taught 5 to Hanumanji, but there were 4 of them which were only to be taught to a married man. And since he was a brahmachari, or he is a brahmachari, he could not uh, learn those teachings from him. And hence he agreed to marry Lord Sun's daughter named Suvarchala in the pursuit of his, uh, in his commitment to learn, to gain complete knowledge. While we would not see, and there is only one temple in India which showcases Hanuman's marriage or Hanuman's wife. This is in Telangana. There's only one temple across India where he is in a married form. Otherwise, he's only in the rest of the forms. Right. Another important aspect of Hanumanji is the Panchmukhi Hanuman. So the story goes back again in the Treta Yuga, when Ram was fighting against Ravana. So Ahiravan had captured both Ram and Lakshman and took them to Patal Lok. And Hanumanji went behind to find Ramji. And that is when, he was not able to find out, not able to locate Ram or Ahiravan or Lakshman in the Patal Lok. And it came across that the only way to free Ram and Lakshman was to kill Ahiravan. To kill Ahiravan, the legend says that there were 5 different lamps which need to be blown out all at the same time. Right. So hence he formed, Panchmukhi avatar, so that he could blow those lamps all in one go. And there is a significance of those 5 faces he had. So one is Adi Ravan, which is a boar, and Narsingh, which is a lion, Garuda, which is an eagle, Hayagriv is a horse, and Hanuman himself is a monkey. So, he formed Panchmukhi, which was depicted by 5 different animals, and he was able to kill Ahiravan and got Ram and Lakshman freed from his capture. So that is about it. And I read the entire meaning of Hanuman Chalisa, while I was doing research, and I was blown by, what all is mentioned in there. So, and that's for today from my side. And now the house is open to observations, to questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I learned a lot.
So did I. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
That is awesome, Sahil. So much. I mean, we all familiar, but so much is there about Hanuman is great. Thank you, Geetu, and thank you, Sahil.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Krishna.
I didn't know about Hanumanji's marriage at all. I mean, that every place we say he's a brahmachari. So I was like, what? He's married to Subhashana. Wow, that's news.
Yeah.
May I ask you something about the Navanidhi? You said the Navanidhi and Ashta Siddhi also, some could not be taught to brahmacharis, therefore he got married. That is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. In the Navanidhi, there's one, this I understood about the Rajas, Tamas, and the Sattvic Guna. So basically, he had a balance of all. But in the one of them was the wealth he gathers stays for 3 generations, and in another it was for 1 generation. So I was a wee bit wondering why exactly that. I mean, so depending on what Hanumanji decides, you can have it either for 1 generation. Did you understand my question? In Navanidhi, or you could flash the slide and check it out. There's one Navanidhi which is for 3, the wealth remains
And hence, if one has to have multiple generations, he has to be married. For him to...
Oh, so that particular Navanidhi we have to imbibe. Otherwise, single generation, that way.
Correct. For him as well, for him to get that particular nidhi, which is meant, through which his funds or his property or his virtues would last for 3 generations, he has to be married. Right. And that is when sun god suggested him to marry before he could gain that knowledge.
Or he could be empowered with that knowledge.
Yeah.
I would love to know from now on, Sahil, I want you to find this out because you're on Hanumanji. Does he have children too? Today, when we have found that he has a wife, does he have children too? And that's where one of the nidhis will come into force of the wealth being taken forward to 3 generations. Yes, the whole thing is that when we, so the entire thing is today it's all about worship. But in the past, it was all about sadhana. Sadhana meant focus and receiving the energy. Yes, Ravinder.
I would like to share something. And I feel I have an obligation to speak the truth, even if it resonates with some people or not. I have been born in the Sikh religion, and which is against idol worship and Devi Devta. So I bow to none other than Guru Granth Sahib, and I believe in none other the only formless God. So in Guru Granth Sahib it is written that Roop na Rekh na Rang Kich Tre Gunte Prapin Tise Bujaya Nanaka Jis Hove Suprasan, which means that he has no shape or form, and he is beyond the 3 gunas, Rajogun, Tamogun, and Satgun, and only that person understands on whom his grace falls. And that's what I believe in. But I do relate to Hanumanji as an energy, as a master, not as Devi Devta, someone whom I would revere or jinki mein puja karunga, ya murti mein jaunga. And recently, I connected with someone and I have some debts. And I received some intuition that I should connect with one person. And I connected with him, and they said that he will guide you how to get out of debts. And he was reading some books on Hanuman. and he gifted me that book, and I want to show that book if you guys can see that. It comes with a towel.
No, we can't see the book.
Oh, you can't. So I'll have to remove my
You'll have to remove
background.
your background.
Yeah.
Maybe because of that. No background. Okay. It has to be none. Okay. So this is the book, The Making of Rama, and it comes with a towel. So you have to keep it in the towel. And बुक के साथ मुझे ये बुक कवर दूसरा भी आया, परीक्षा, राम लेते हैं मौन परीक्षा, and this book is supposedly being dictated by Hanumanji himself to this person, Ishan Mahesh. And people say that those who read this book, they are literally, they start experiencing what is written in that book. So it's a actually novel, लेकिन वो राम जी के बारे में, हनुमान जी के बारे में लिखा गया है. And I feel it is too much of a coincidence that somebody gives me this book and today's topic is about Hanuman. I did not know that the topic is about Hanuman, and for so many weeks I was not able to connect, and today very effortlessly I was able to connect. So I feel that the energy of Hanumanji is connecting with me at some level. So even though I don't have devotion or I don't pray to him, but I feel that some way I'm connecting with that energy. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
And Ravinder, it's all, this is exactly how our ancient ancestors connected with the energy of any god and goddess in the past. Let's understand something, that today when we talk about worshipping in temples, temples were places to go and be there and receive the energy. It was not about puja part. It was whatever people offered in the temple was actually to be shared amongst everybody. People would go there, receive the energy, and go on with their daily lives. And it was beautiful because that was what we call as their kitty party. The men would land up at a similar time. The women would land up at a similar time. The kids would land up at a similar time. And the older generation would land up at a similar time. So it was their social time too. It was a place where they met and became a group energy. Surprising? I'm very happy that you've brought this Hanumanji along, and fantastic. Thank you. Yes, Gauri, you would like to say something.
And I would like to thank you and Sahil for connecting me with the energy of Hanuman.
Thank you. It's completely Sahil who came up with, I'm doing Hanumanji. Yeah, Gauri, where are you? You were saying
Gitu,
something.
may I say something before Gauri says? Sorry, Gauri, please.
No,
This is regarding Ravinder Singh's comment. First and foremost, the 33 Koti Bhagwan is not 33 crores at all. Koti in Sanskrit means type. So please understand that 33 Koti, see basically, and go to the Sanatan Dharma, there's no idol worship per se. It's all energy. Shakti is the ultimate. So the concept started with Paramatma. So let us not, I mean, since we don't, if we don't know about it, let's not go into those details. But this is just to clarify that it's only 33 different types. So a nurturer, procreator, all these are the different types.
Of archetypes.
What
we call as archetypes.
Yeah. And then the second thing is about idol worship. Across the globe, we say Hinduism is idol worship. It's not true. It's Shakti worship. So basically coming down to the concept of energy, what Gitu was saying. So we'll go about it later. And the third thing is about all the different Bhagwans are the avatars, which came into this earth or rather on the world at that time. Taki, whatever was troubling the children of God at that time, unka sanghar kiya jaye. Sanghar is destruction. So destruction of evil, what was prevalent in the world at that time. That's a basic ideology. We'll go into this later. Thank you, Gitu. Thank you, Gauri.
No problem. I was going to say
Yes,
the
Gauri. I
So,
like.
actually, I what I understood also was because when I was practicing my Buddhism also, they said that Buddhism started in India, but it also disappeared from India. And that was because Buddha had already said that there will be no worship of me. It's what I'm saying is what needs to be followed. It's not what who I am and what. So the minute the idol worship and deity worship started, I think Buddhism disappeared from our country. It went all over. So again, I agree with what Sandhya was saying exactly. And I think temples, everything is just a place of energy. And why the temples, if you look at the details of where the temples and all are being built in India, they're all places where energy has been, felt. And it was also, I think, because we also had the tradition of vocal, we didn't have that writing thing in our ancient times, cultures. So everything was, passed down vocally. Very, very late, it was like put in scripture or written down. So I think because temples, what they must have meant, like Itu was mentioning, that people got together and those oral traditions were handed down from generations to generations. And the fact that the Sanatan Dharma has survived in spite of all the destruction of the temples and idols that have been happening over the last thousands of years by various invaders and other people, I guess there's something very strong and very basic to the Sanatan way of life, which is what we need to understand and which we need to follow and revive in our own lives so that our future generations know that what exactly are we working on and what are we talking about.
So Mother Earth has something what we call as ley lines. Ley lines are lines of energy, very much following the longitudes and latitudes. And when these ley lines cross each other, a surge of energy is created. And that's where these energy points are created. The older, if you actually see before the idol worship, they have been swayambhus, stones that have the energy. And using those images on the stones, they have created those gods and goddesses. Let's understand one thing. It was only when, yes, Stonehenge, etc., are all on ley lines. Let's understand that idol worship came much later into our world. When people were, because of invasions, various invasions, invasions are not just the last 2,000-3,000 years. There have been multiple invasions. To bring back the focus, every time there has been an invasion, there has been a shake of faith. And every time there has been a shake of faith, the people of the faith have tried to bring back people back into their faith. And let's understand one thing. Earlier it was formless. Now there are temples, there are idols, there is worship, so that simply the humans can focus, acha, iska ye form hai, to I will worship this form and focus on this. But today, let's understand all of us. We are beyond the forms. We work with energy. We don't need forms. We need energy. And today, when Sahil has explained the Ashtanidhi, non-nidhi, these are the forms of Hanumanji that you're connecting with. These are the energies of Hanumanji that you're creating. That means when you want to when there is a crowd and you don't want to be seen, you can connect to the energy of his atom and not be seen in the crowd. Suddenly you can be the energy of hugeness. And in shamanism, this is called shape-shifting. How cool is that? The modern name for what Hanumanji's non-nidhis are. So, it's like that. You focus on that energy and you receive that energy. So until we meet the next time now, all the Navnidhis and all Ashtas Siddhis that, Sahil has put up, we are going to experiment with it.
Sahil, please post those Navanidhis and Ashtasiddhis in WhatsApp. Otherwise, like today, Ravinder was saying he connected.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to ask also.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up this recording on my channel today, and then you can connect to his entire presentation all over again.
Yeah, because this connection means Ravinder exercised some of the Nidhi, one of the Nidhi where there's a connection between all. You basically connected with the Hanuman energy, right?
Yes.
So that's the one of the Navanidhis. So, okay.
And I want you to give a feedback that when you connected, Sahil, I don't think everyone is going to get this connection over here, but when I put it up on the group, you can just put it over there. All right. Yes, I love this conversation that's happening over here.
And Hanumanji got married, but he never consummated his marriage. So he remained a brahmachari throughout his life, in spite of being married. That's what Google says. I don't know. Google Baba
Yeah.
says.
Hats off to Survasala also, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't okay.
Yeah, she was just the wife.
Yeah, but she was a Shakti.
Yeah.
I don't think at that time they needed marriage to validate themselves. They were complete in themselves, even the women.
Yeah, it was all energy.
Yeah.
She was also daughter of God, sun god. She would be in her own right something.
Geetu, would you like to talk about those 5 faces of Hanumanji, the 5 animals?
So the 5 animals are your power animals, right? So when, what I feel it's coming out of it, see, when you want something, so Ahiravan is something that affects you very badly, very negatively. Literally, Ahiravan is something that is significant of being so powerful that he could pick up Lakshman along with Ram and take them both into Patalu. That means there is an energy which is so strong. Therefore, at that point of time, he too took this avatar of 5 different elements, I would call as elements or power animals, where he used each of them to extinguish the 5 forces of the element of negativity. Let's understand something. If we are in that zone today where there is such deep negativity which is affecting us, we need to learn from the Panchmukhi of Hanumanji. And he is knowingly, unknowingly giving us the hint that we have to be all the 5. We have to be the lion, we have to be the horse, we have to be the monkey, we have to be the boar, and we have to be the eagle to take care of that situation in our lives. First and foremost, most important, being an eagle. Rising above from that situation and seeing the situation from above. Because when the storms come, all the other animals hide and the eagle rises. How many of us in our lives have been in the storm and we have hidden? All of us. So that's where we have to invoke the energy of the Garud in Hanumanji so that he helps us to rise in that storm of ours. With respect to the lion, bravery, we shouldn't be afraid of the negativity or these things that's affecting us. The lion stands in the storm. He doesn't go into his cave. He doesn't hide. He says, I'm powerful. I will deal with the situation. If this has come to me, let me use my power to go through it, to deal with it. Horse. Horse is all about speed. Invoke the horse for speed, because it's the only one that gallops without raising the dust. And without raising the dust, it's very important, because if there is dust, you can't see your whole head. That's why the natives use the horses to walk on their red road. The boar, using its tusks, it digs deeper. It digs deeper into why it is creating a problem today. So let us understand. And once you've understood that this is the reason, excellent. Don't try to solve the reason. Because the past cannot be resolved. The future can be changed by the change in our attitude. And here is where this is something that personally I have worked on in the last so many years, and especially now in the last 1 month. Every event that comes up in my life, whether it is mine or another person's, just do the Ho'oponopono. Why is it showing up in your life? I don't know. But I'll still do the Ho'oponopono. It has come into my knowledge. It has come into my space. That is some digging that my boar is doing. And finally, monkey. Hanumanji. All the Ashtanidhis, he still has his fun. He still flies around. He still becomes small and he still becomes big. He still becomes a child and he still becomes a giant. He still bows in front of people who he reveres, and he destroys what needs to be destroyed. Yes. All right. I see there's a conversation that is also happening on the side on Stonehenge. So as I speak about this, and let's write. Yes. So yes, there are so many energy points on Earth. And then Stonehenge is one of them. The Tor is one of them. Varanasi is one of them. Varanasi is the third eye. No, Varanasi is the crown chakra. Machu Picchu is also one of them. You know, there is an entire poster which shows the Earth chakras. These, whenever there is lots of work happening somewhere, there are a lot of ley lines. The 79th longitude of Earth has maximum number of temples. Kailash is also on the 79th longitude. Oh, Ravinder, you buried crystals in all these places?
No, actually, I was guided that I should go to these places and bury huge crystals there. It was supposed to maybe balance the energy network or something of that sort.
Okay, let's talk about crystals also over here. Now that we are on the crystals. Earlier, the crystals were formed in those places where there was energy too. And when people brought the broken parts of the crystals, that's when they received the energy of those zones too. But today, mining is happening left, right, and center. I don't know how much energy is there in those crystals. But yes, I do recommend that you do charge your crystals in the sun and the moon energies. Not just the moon energies, not just the full moon energies. Because the crystals are on Earth during all phases of the moon and during all phases of the sun. So if you do have crystals, store them in a place or keep them open in a place near the window of your house so that they can be energized with the sun and the moon energies all the 365 days and nights of the year. I'm not partial to the full moon or the new moon. Yes, the energies surge at that point, but that is a time that we work on ourselves. Okay, that was a tangent. Let's come back to Hanumanji.
We ask any experiences with Hanumanji any of us has had.
We're going to experience and we're going to come back. Neha, with your permission, can I request 15 minutes, 20 minutes of sharing experience when we meet next time on the 18th?
This is yours. You don't need my permission.
No, because you're going to be presenting.
Yes, absolutely. All the time you need. You're the boss.
In shamanism, nobody's the boss. We're all in a circle. Each of us take our place, speak, and sit down. We're all equal. I'm just guiding this space.
Elder of the tribe is the boss, no? Or the wise person?
Everybody is a wise person in their own space.
Okay. But then they have the elder of the tribe or something. He is
Wise,
also
the wise man or the wise woman.
okay.
The floor is still open to everyone for sharing experiences. Yeah, Nika.
I was just thinking, if when you suddenly feel, when you're actually low and down and you don't want to do anything, and yet you feel a sudden surge of energy, that is also one part of it.
Absolutely. Because that's someone that is kicking you out of your comfort zone. Yeah, thank you, Ravinder, for being present here and sharing your experiences with Hanumanji too. Thank you so much. So shall we stop the recording?
Yeah, I think makes sense. All right.